Hey everybody, welcome to Chan's Logic, episode 5. I've got a new friend here. This is Moose. He's a little prairie dog pup. He's only 6 weeks old. He's pretty excited. He yells Yahoo all the time. And so you'll see him along with Pepe in future episodes. Okay, bye Moose. Here's Pepe.
Hey, Pepe.
He's back. I've been calling him Peter lately, so I'd like everybody to let me know. What do you think? Pepe lay squirrel or Peter lay squirrel?
Pepe. Pepe. He doesn't like Peter either.
And he loves it. He's
No,
squeaking. Squeaking means happy.
No, it's not. Okay, so last weekend, we got to go to Salt Lake City for the USA Weightlifting National Championships for seniors and also the Olympic team trials. That was an experience. That was really cool. It's our, second year taking somebody to senior nationals?
17th year.
17th apparently. Second. Chan was the first. Jill was our awesome second senior national qualifier. And then youth nationals is going to be out of control.
Yeah, we're looking to bring something like 1 million kids.
Mm-hmm.
And by 1 million, I mean like 10 to 15 kids to youth nationals. So it's going to be us, 10 kids, and then about everyone else. So we're going to take over the entire back area of the weightlifting meet. And we're going to be like a tiny little gang. Just a small little gang with
literally tiny little people. They're like 50 pounds and less.
They're tiny little people. And if you tell them to, they'll attack targets. So it's a small little gang.
It's a little gang.
So Jill this weekend did pretty well. She's 63 kilos, which is like 138, 39 pounds. She was able to snatch 80 kilos, which is about 176 pounds. And she was able to clean and jerk about 100 kilos, which was a personal best for her, which is about 220 pounds. So it's pretty awesome. She crushed it. We were super excited. I Facebook Live the whole thing, so if you ever want to watch it, go to my Facebook profile and you can check it out.
So the event itself was really cool. Very nice venue. We were in Salt Lake City again. First time we were in Salt Lake City. We had the whole couldn't find coffee anywhere problem. Slightly had that problem again.
Yeah, I walked around for about probably 30 minutes on average each day trying to find coffee. Because Starbucks always closed at like 6 p.m. or super early, so I had to go
9
search
p.m.
for
we still needed coffee.
Local places. Oh yeah, when you're at those meets, sometimes you're lifting until midnight, so you got to have coffee 24/7. In fact, I think it should be a requirement when you go in front of the committee to bid to be a location for this kind of event that coffee 24/7 should be the absolute requirement. Mm-hmm. You don't need food, you don't need water, all you need is coffee.
Just coffee. That's all we need.
And not decaf. That's like eating dirt. Don't do decaf.
Don't do that.
Decaf is bad.
Yeah. But anyways, really cool to see all the past Olympians. There were a lot of them there. They did a couple special ceremonies for the athletes in the trials. That was super cool. A lot of records broken. Even outside of the trials, there were a lot of records that went down. It's cool to see different venues and us get to actually watch. We had to run the American Open last year, which is the second tier national event, but it is the largest. We had 955 registrations.
Yeah, so talk about event management. How do you get 1,000 lifters to actually lift and convince 500 people to volunteer throughout the weekend and run the thing on time and make it work?
Yeah.
And we managed to do it. It took we had a system established. We had volunteers checking in and checking out throughout the day. We even had volunteers sitting around with nothing to do, which is beautiful because usually when you run an event with volunteers, half of them will quit on you or half of them will say, oh, I can't make it because something happened. And so it was pretty neat that we were able to run an event of that magnitude and stay on time.
Yes. It was very good with the time. We had minimal scoring system problems, which is something that's pretty typical at the national meets. The scoring never works. It always goes down at some point. If you've ever been there, you know what it's like.
Yeah, you can run the greatest meet in the world, and the scoring system will break and set you back 2, 3, 4 hours, which ruins your entire meet.
Yeah.
And then all the super fun Monday morning quarterback bloggers get to write about how terrible you are at what you do, which is pretty awesome.
We had the system only crash for about 20 minutes on the very last day. We made it to Sunday without any problems.
It's true. So those bloggers didn't get to write about how bad the event was. They only wrote about how bad the coaching was, which is fine. We can't control that.
Right. That's
even
not
though
our department.
The coaching was fairly good.
It was, yeah. So hopefully, 2018. Well, I don't know. Hopefully, that's kind of pushing it. But 2018, Reno's bidding for American Open again. maybe we'll have more than 955 lifters this time. I don't know. We'll see how that runs. But
even though we still have nightmares from the last one, we're going to manage it and do it again.
Yes.
So talking a little bit about how we got the American Open to work and how we made it function and happen is we basically started a Facebook group called the American Open Volunteer Group. From that, we invited a bunch of people, got everybody in there talking about what they wanted to do. We took advantage of the ability of the CrossFit community to want to jump on things, and everyone's super helpful and amazing in that community. So we reached out and asked all of them. We approached local high schools and said, hey, we'll give you XXX equipment or money if you come in and help us with this meet, which helps the high schools out. And then we approached a bunch of different local community organizations, got them involved, and really when you think about it, it's business development. So if we were going to go out and start a new business, we do the same thing. With this, we were able to just get everybody involved and moving and get everybody put together.
Oh, Moose is happy.
Yeah, Moose is squawking.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to run events like that, you got to get a massive amount of volunteers. So if you need 500, you need to organize 1,000. If you need 200, you need 400. At least double what you're looking for. And then you've got to get everybody motivated. You have to check in with them. You have to tell them where to be, how to be there, how to get there. You have to have a system for keeping them organized. And once you kind of get that going and you have people in different positions, then the event runs super smooth and there's no problems with it.
Yeah, it was good. It was the first 4-platform event for USA weightlifting.
It was also the largest weightlifting meet in the history of the world of the sport, including the Olympic Games.
Yeah, they don't have very many for that. So.
I remember when
we nailed it.
Remember when I first started this whole weightlifting thing, someone told me, you don't know anything. You've never run a meet that's anything larger than 200 people. And so looking back and where we're at now, it's pretty cool to see the fact that we have run 1,000-person meet. And we did it on time and we didn't have any problems and it went smoothly. And no one wrote a blog post about how bad it was. So it was pretty exciting.
That was good.
We're back. So when we were out of town, someone's got to manage the gym. The gym's got to run. The gym has to be efficient and on time and organized, and people have to be coached because people deserve the experience that they pay for. And so what we have set up and what we've done with kind of our gym and our coaches and everything is they know what they're doing. They know how to do it. They've been trained well enough to the point to where they can do pretty much anything without us. So all of our coaches are able to function independently. They can open and close the gym. They can make things work on the fly. They know and understand how it works. And they don't really have to call us unless the place burns down. And so the place hasn't burned down yet. So that's the good news.
Yeah. Yeah, our coaches, and even with this trip while we were gone, our kind of main coach that does most of the classes and has a lot of our own clients was with us. So in this case, like, we have a utility coach who is trained. So they step in when we need them to. If all of the coaches are gone, we've at least got still a backup for when the regular coaches who have their clientele are gone with us too, because that's going to happen next month at Youth Nationals.
Yeah, so we have basically 2 types of coaches. We have the coaches who are doing this as kind of their profession. They do this as their thing 5-6 days a week. And then we have the coaches who fill in when we need it. Mm-hmm. So neither is better than the other. Both are an integral piece in making this whole thing work. And if we didn't have the utilities when the main ones aren't there, we wouldn't be able to function. Our coaching program, it goes professional online coaching school. Once they graduate from their coaching school, they go into one-on-one shadowing. Once they've shown that they can shadow one-on-ones and pay attention and they kind of know what's going on, we move them into doing their own one-on-ones with one of us standing behind them. And then as they do more one-on-ones, we pull a little bit away. We let them do more. We keep pulling away until they're capable of doing one-on-ones on their own. Once they've shown that they can do that, then they're allowed to go into group classes and actually teach those kinds of things. So they can go in and they teach multiple people in multiple environments with multiple different things going on. And when we do it that way, you learn from basically crawl, walk, run. So you learn one-on-one environment, then you learn one-on-one by yourself, and then you learn the group class environment, which is, to us, it's necessary to learn and understand mechanics. You can't just teach 7 new people how to do a snatch or a complex movement before you've taught one person and understood it.
Right. But luckily we have fundamentals for our members, our new members, which everybody goes through, which on our end makes coaching a lot less like teaching the skill every class. It's like, let's go through the basic movement, touch on key points to remember, and then go. And then it's just tips and cues as everybody's working out, rather than having to like teach an entire class how to snatch. That could take a whole hour. I mean, that should take more than a whole hour. You don't have that all day.
Yeah, and so like our fundamentals program, they go through a comprehensive analysis. They walk in. Their first one is an assessment. So we're talking to them about their goals, where they want to be, how they want to get there, and we define whether or not they're a good fit for us. You can't have a facility where everybody is a good fit for everybody. If you had say, who do you look for? Who do you train? And you say everybody, well, that means you train nobody, because you don't have a market, you don't have an environment, you haven't created what you kind of need to shoot for and what you need to look for. And so when we bring them in for that fundamentals and we see that they're a good fit and we're a good fit, and we establish their movement assessment, then they move into our fundamentals program that usually averages anywhere from 5 to 15 sessions, and it's all one-on-one. We teach them how to do every single movement. We work on mobility problems. We work on issues. We work on any kind of flaws in the system that we need to address before they jump into a group class where it's not as easy to address these issues and flaws.
You don't want to just throw them in, sink or swim, ready to go.
Yeah. And we're big on just making sure we know what's going on, who's staying, who's not, and what's happening. And what we find is people who start with fundamentals tend to stick with it in the long run, whereas the ones who would just get thrown into a group class or something like that tend to drop off because they find that it's scary, because you're jumping into this crazy thing where people are running around and you're like, I have no idea what's happening here. I'm confused. And then they don't continue to do it because they feel like, oh, that just wasn't for me. And it's not that it wasn't for them. It's just that it wasn't properly introduced. It wasn't in an environment that was good for them to learn in. Yeah. Once they get done with kind of our fundamentals programs, we give them the opportunity to do one-on-one sessions with us as well. And so they keep doing those one-on-one sessions throughout their group sessions. So they can pick anywhere from 2 up to like 1 a week. And so that gives them the opportunity to say, hey, like 3 months down the road, let's talk about how things are going. Let's establish a plan of action. Let's make sure you're happy. Let's just make sure you're on board still. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we call a little bit of a hybrid membership, and allows our people to continuously be engaged by the coaches, not only in a group environment, but a one-on-one environment as well. Yeah. Which is pretty exciting. And I don't know if you're watching this and you've coached a CrossFit class, it's hard to coach snatch 7 hours in a row if you have to do it with a PVC pipe. Yeah. And so if you have a class and you walk in and you say, okay, everybody, we're doing snatch today. They all grab their whatever they need. They know what they're doing, and your job is to walk around and make them better. Then that person who's been doing this for 5 years isn't going to look in the back and want to just jump off a 2-story building because he's seen the PVC pipe lecture 16,000 times. So he knows that he can just jump on his thing. Yep. The day one person knows they can jump on their thing, and then the coach is there to walk around and make sure everybody gets a good skill session. And that goes into kind of our classes. There's a warm-up, there's a strength or a skill segment, which allows them to work without time for Olympic lifts or anything that's a little bit more technical that we don't want to put under a time load just yet.
Mm-hmm. So we work on kipping, we might work on double under practice, handstands, some of the more technical stuff that people need a little bit more work on, rather than just being like, all right, we're going to do this in a workout today, hope you know how. We always like trying to give them that, like 15, 20 minutes of extra time that they can practice some skills.
Yeah, and then after that, after the strength segment, we go into what we call an accessory segment. And this is kind of something we developed when we noticed that we need to make sure shoulders stay healthy, and we need to make sure hamstrings get engaged. We need to make sure different pieces of the body that aren't necessarily engaged in every workout get a piece of it. And so the accessory segment's usually devoted towards the core, the low back, maybe getting the shoulders in a good position, working the hamstrings a little bit, just making sure the parts that often get neglected don't get neglected anymore. Mm-hmm. And then when people jump into our group classes, it's levels 3, 2, 1. They can go wherever they need to be. You might be a level 1 one day, a level 3 another day, a level 2 the next day. You might be a level 2.5. It's fine. We're not going to smack you over the head with a stick because you're not a level 3 or something like that. We're not going to scream and yell at you because you can't do level 3. This is fitness for life, and this is fitness for people who just want to be happy.
Yeah. That helps a lot, having the different levels. So we have like the RX, which everybody's kind of used to. But then we also have like an intermediate beginner level. Like you said, some days you're at a different level. I mean, there's some days where I'm like, I just feel like being intermediate today. So it makes it a lot easier for people, especially coming right out of the fundamentals, to get into group class and be like, I can start at level 1. And then they have goals that they can get to at each point. So
Yeah, so that works pretty well. The other thing we kind of want to talk about today, and we got a couple questions on, is how do you select coaches and how do you train them and how do you introduce them to the gym? And so, what we found selecting coaches, you can do one of two ways, maybe three ways. So, you can take people from your gym. You can say, hey, we have an opening. Does anybody want to do this? And you have to emphasize, and especially what we do, that this is either a professional coaching opportunity or this is utility coaching opportunity. Both have different pathways. And so, you can pull from your membership. You can create a little bit of a job application and put that out there so people can read it and apply for it. And then the number three thing that that was pretty neat is you go to a university and you say, hey, I need someone who's a senior who wants to do this as a professional for a living. And let's do an internship. So you can start them off in their senior year in your internship. Ours takes at least 12 months. So if they take that whole senior year and they work through our internship, by the time they graduate, they're in a position to be a full-fledged coach. They're already making an income. And they're already in the position they want to be because this is what they want to do for the rest of their life.
Yeah. I think that's the best route to go because then you get them fresh out of college and they're like ready to go, like very
gung-ho.
Yeah.
They're ready to jump in and crush it.
Right.
They want to go human hunting. They want to do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
So final thing we want to talk about in the video a little bit is just branding. So how do you develop a recognizable brand? How do you build something up that isn't so, like when you look at our industry, it's CrossFit, it's CrossFit, it's CrossFit, it's CrossFit. It's like everybody has an iPhone and the iPhone's the same, right? Nobody cares because there's no differences because you're a franchise, obviously. And in reality, in this industry, it couldn't be farther from the truth. So when I open my iPhone and I look at it, I have my setup and Steph has her setup. I have no idea what's in her phone. I have to use the search feature. It takes me 25 minutes to figure the thing out. And it's like getting on a brand new thing. I have no idea. And that's kind of like what a CrossFit gym is and how it functions. So you have one gym who does things one way. You walk across the street and you're like, what mother of God, what just happened? Everything's different. And so that's kind of how CrossFit gyms function. It's an independent organization. CrossFit HQ doesn't give any business help. They don't really support the affiliates in any way. Other than maybe, I think we got a poster for a couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we haven't got one in a couple
years. Oh, yeah,
years.
We got a poster 2 years ago, so that was pretty cool.
That was nice.
And other than that, you really don't get any support or anything like that. But what you want to do in your affiliate in your CrossFit gym, or if you're in an industry where there's you and there's 7,000 others who look like you, like maybe you're a dentist, maybe you're a physical therapist, maybe you're in one of these industries where everybody thinks you're the same when you're not, because there's people who are better at others than what they do, and there's systems that work differently than other systems. And so what I think is important and what you need to focus on is developing your brand. So your brand needs to be, like I said, recognizable, it needs to stick out, and it needs to be in the consumer's mind.
Yeah. Like, for instance, we've talked a lot about, like, fitness stuff today and, like, how we run our gyms and some good practices for running a gym. But for us, branding was a huge thing even from the get-go. We started as Stone Age Fuel as a blog, and that turned into us wanting to get into opening our own gym. So we knew from the beginning that we always wanted to just be known as Stone Age Fuel. Being a CrossFit gym, we are that. At the same time, most people, they don't even say CrossFit Stone Age Fuel, or they say Stone Age Fuel CrossFit because they don't even know which one we are.
So we appreciate the CrossFit brand and the name and everything it's done for everybody. I mean, fitness is completely different now.
Oh, yeah.
You don't just walk into a gym and do bicep curls with your bros and
unless you're my dad,
or get a personal trainer. Yeah, Steph's dad walks into our gym and does curls, which is fine because he's 70 years old. He thinks he's 80, but he's 70.
He's 70.
And so I told him, Steve, do the curls for the girls. And so he got excited and we pumped out some curls and stuff. Well, that's fine. But nowadays, because of what CrossFit's done, you don't walk into a gym, you don't find some random personal trainer who's going to text while you go and do preacher curls, kind of. And so it's a great thing. We've always been, it's funny too that people ask us, oh, are you still affiliated? And we've always been. We've been doing this longer than anybody in the history of the world.
Not really. I'm
just kidding. But we've been doing this long enough to maybe be OG status. If you don't know OG, it's original gangster. And like Ice Cube says, today was a good day. But when you look at it, we appreciate the brand, we understand the brand, but we also have to recognize that we need our own brand. We need to develop our own thing. And so everybody knows us as Stone Age Fuel. Everybody knows us as they do something like CrossFit, but they know that we're Stone Age Fuel. They know our little caveman. They know our colors. Everything's organized in a way that makes sense and that reflects back on what we actually do. Mm-hmm. And so you look at our logo, it's Stone Age Fuel, it's a blue caveman and orange letters. Our gym is blue and orange. This table is blue and orange. Everything is
It's only orange.
everything is these colors by design.
Yep.
We do this because it makes it recognizable. Everybody remembers what it is, and everybody has an idea of what you do based off that.
Right.
And so our brand and our ideas behind branding, if you want to develop that, it's more than just paying a company $18 million to make you a logo and shoot some videos. It's developing the idea and the position where you're different, even when you're in a sea of things that are the same. And so that's the idea of putting out good content, giving people information, helping people out, helping them understand what you do. One of the biggest ways to push that out is obviously on social media, like we talk about a lot. It's writing blog posts about your brand and what you do, making videos about your brand and what you do, talking to people, anything like that, wearing your stuff kind of out and about, going around and talking to other businesses. If you do have something like what we do, and you wouldn't want to just put on your front door CrossFit gym, because then when someone sees that, the consumer is just going to go and price check. They're going to look at you, they're going to look at someone else, they're going to just find the cheapest option when they don't know what the differences are, they don't know why you're different and who you are. And it's nothing bad about the consumer, but that's just how they function. They just want to find the lowest price because they consider you a commodity. You're considered like a bunch of bananas. Every banana is the same. They all taste the same. Some are bigger than the others, but generally getting the same banana. So we're not a bunch of bananas. We are different. Everybody's unique. Some are better than others. Some are more structured than others. And you really need to help people identify why you're different. And so rather than CrossFit gym on your branding, you could put School of Fitness or Fitness Facility or superawesomegymguy.com, whatever you want to put that makes your brand stand out and that makes people recognize it. So it should have your logo and it should have some words that make your brand unique. So it could be your name, it could be some phrase, but it also needs to be something that they're going to remember and it's not too crazy, because it's fun when it's superawesomegym.com, but then after a while it's normal.
Chan wants to become a country club. Stone Age Fuel Country Club.
Yeah, so my theory is
mimosas and
Yep. So that's my idea. We become a school of our fitness club. So we work out, we exercise, we do everything the same we're doing now, but now we tap kegs of cider, sour beer, and all that stuff. And after workouts, we have fun. Yeah, we put a little bar and a little country club in there, and nobody has to leave. Eventually, I think we'll make little tiny houses outside of our gym. And so little couple 100 square foot houses, everybody can live there. And I think this just became a commune.
Wonderful.
So that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, brand yourself, make yourself stand out. That's the biggest thing. And like you said, we've talked about before, social media. Be out there. Don't go crazy so that people get like 50 million notifications that so and so is posting this, and this. You want to make sure you time it out, space it out accordingly, write good content, take great pictures. You can even do little like snippets of videos of just talking about things that are like tips for, like we've done eating on the go, or how to, what else have we done?
Oh, we've done
healthy eating, yeah. But do little tips and tricks for your specific market. There you go. Thanks. So those kind of things, people will be like, oh, I need to go back and check up on those 3 little tips that so-and-so gave me. And then they'll remember. And that's how you just start building trust and communicating with your market, even if they haven't ever come to see you. They're still checking your social media, getting information from you, and then that day where they're finally like, "Oh, I need to go and do whatever it is you do," they'll remember, "Hey, I need to go to so and so that I've been following on the social medias for a long time."
Yeah, is that still recording?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so you want to be. Yes. Everybody talks about like, I need leads right now. I need things right now. I need my brand right now. Branding development and branding recognition takes a long time. Like, you've got to be out there, you've got to be talking to people, you've got to be putting content out all the time. You have to nurture and build trust with people over the course of years to build a good, solid brand. Mm-hmm. It's not just going to happen in a week. You're not going to say, hey, look, we're a new brand, and get 4,000 new people in your thing and everybody out the corner and all that stuff. And it's not going to work like that right off the bat. So you have to build trust and develop trust with your brand before people will pursue it over others, especially if you're in an industry where you look from the outside, you appear the same as everyone else.
Right.
And so it's not about right here, right now, it's about what am I doing every 90 days? What am I doing 1, 2, 3 years from now? Where am I at? How is our brand developed? Where are people at? What do they think about me? When we put out surveys and talk to them and ask questions, do they respond? Are they that engaged with you? And so those are the kinds of things to consider. It's not just how can I put a Facebook ad out today and get 37 people tomorrow? It's how do I develop trust now so in 2 years they're flocking to my door and I have a waiting list. In kind of conclusion with your brand, you need to develop it. You need to build trust. Start putting out content on, I would say Facebook's probably your most important platform in a lot of industries. Maybe if we're in something like kids, if you're shooting for people 13 to 18 or something, you might want to look at Snapchat and Twitter. They're pretty important in those aspects. We have a big youth program, and I ask them all the time what platforms they're on. And so the kids are telling me now it's Snapchat's number 1, Twitter's number 2,
That's weird.
Musical.ly's kind of fallen down, and they told me Instagram's on the low. And nobody uses Facebook because that's just so 2003.
That's for the old people. It's like MySpace.
They don't want to be on the same platform their grandpa's on.
It's not really like MySpace.
I mean, it might be like MySpace, except it might be better.
Maybe one day it's gonna fall off. No, it won't fall off.
Facebook is a juggernaut.
Yeah. But anyways, the kids are falling off Facebook a little bit. We've noticed that.
Yeah.
Our kids, they don't have Facebooks.
They're moving off Instagram now as well, so it's Snapchat and Twitter with these kids.
It's because it's easy. Snapchat's so easy, and Twitter, I don't understand Twitter, but it's only a few 140 characters?
Yeah.
That's it. And they're like, boom, 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 just Twitter all day long.
Kids like Twitter because they can talk. So you have 140 characters, you put something out, and then someone comments right back. You just basically talk. It's like a little messaging platform. It's one of the most important platforms for chatter. So you can use Twitter search to find anything. Like you can get someone who says, I'm looking for a CrossFit gym on Twitter, and you can respond and talk to them back and forth. Or I'm looking for so-and-so, and you can figure out who's doing what, and where they're doing it, and what they need. And you can talk to them. You don't have to be like, hey, I own a gym. Come see me. You can be like, hey, check out this blog post. Maybe you can help. It'll help you figure out a gym that works for you. Stuff like that. So if you use Twitter search, it's actually a pretty powerful tool to do that stuff. And then obviously with the kids, they like simple. So it's a simple, short text, and they can go. It's like texting. They can go back and forth with each other and talk with each other. This was kind of a fun little episode where we talked about our USAW experience at Nationals, which was an awesome event. Kind of how our gym functions and runs when we're not there. Pepe came out. He's talking. He's excited. He's really soft if you haven't actually touched the flying squirrel.
Very soft.
But then we talked about how we select and train coaches, our development program, and then how to build a unique brand and how it takes a long time to build a good brand, and you're not going to be able to pay somebody to do it in a short period. You're going to have to develop this over a period of years. Fun. Thanks for watching. Follow us on the social channels and ask us questions if you've got them. You can get on Facebook and message me a question, or you can get on Instagram and ask us questions on Instagram Direct, snap us a question, or you can tweet us.
Yep. #ChansLogic.
That's right. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week or in 10 days when we make another one of these.